Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
So a few months ago, I remember Dereck Chisora having an interview and he was speaking about Dillian Whyte. And he said that how the WBC had been treating Dillian Whyte by not giving him his world title shot. Wilder at the time, who of course was champion, right before Tyson Fury won, he's saying how Wilder, he should be fighting Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's been done dirty, blah, 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 blah. But over the last few weeks, Dereck Chisora seems to be having quite a few pops at Dillian Whyte. Why? Because he wants a third fight with him. In fact, his latest ones were that in the first fight with Dillian Whyte, he feels he got robbed on points where he won that fight, which is kind of weird as he stood there against the ropes, not throwing any punches for virtually the whole fight because he was knackered. Not quite sure how he thinks he won that fight, but either way, he believes he won the first fight. In the rematch, he's blaming the referee for distracting him by docking a point for low blows, which Dereck Chisora does pretty much every fight anyway, consistently. So the referee messed him up. That's why his mind went and he got caught with a big left hook from Dillian Whyte. So he wants that third fight for a couple of reasons as well. Number one, it's pay-per-view. It's a headliner. And of course, he's going to get paid very, very well. So he wants that third fight with Dillian Whyte. In fact, he's openly said that's what he wants. And in fact, he's even said that he's quite willing to go over and help Alexander Povetkin prepare for Dillian Whyte. Okay? Now, the latest one now is that he's saying that the likes of Eddie Hearn, Sky Sports, DAZN, the WBC, the other sanctioning bodies and that as well, are all upset with Dillian Whyte because Dillian Whyte turned down the Anthony Joshua fight, as they had Wembley Stadium booked all ready to go for Anthony Joshua. They wanted Dillian Whyte. Now, what he's claiming is that right before he rematched Dillian Whyte, Chisora and Dillian Whyte both had an agreement to fight Anthony Joshua. So the winner would fight Anthony Joshua. Dillian Whyte won that fight. Dillian Whyte was offered the fight and he turned it down. So all these people are upset with Dillian Whyte because he turned it down. Now, a couple of things that kind of like strike me about his claims, shall we say, is the fact that right after Dillian Whyte won that fight, you guys who watched it will know exactly what I'm talking about. Anthony Joshua, he was working with Sky Sports, he was doing the commentary for that fight, and he got up on the apron, he congratulated Dillian, they fist bumped, Dillian said, cool, are we going to fight next? Anthony Joshua said, sure, we can fight, but only if I don't get the Deontay Wilder fight or the Tyson Fury fight. Then we'll look at having a fight with you. And he asked the crowd, is everybody okay with that? I don't want none of you guys having a go at me because I'm fighting Dillian Whyte. I'm not fighting Wilder or Fury. I'm trying to get those fights, but Dillian Whyte is my plan number 3. So quite what Dereck Chisora is talking about, I don't know, because that's not the plan that Anthony Joshua had. Anthony Joshua wanted at the time was the WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. If he couldn't get Wilder for undisputed, he wanted Tyson Fury. And he offered Tyson Fury 40%. Tyson Fury turned it down. Then they went to the table with Dillian Whyte. Now, right before Dillian Whyte fought Dereck Chisora, I did one of our many podcasts with him, and I asked him about a potential fight with Anthony Joshua. And he said, well, he's already been told that Anthony Joshua will be fighting Big Baby Jarrell Miller. All this thing is all a smokescreen. He will be fighting Big Baby Jarrell Miller in America next. A couple of months later, look what happens. He ends up fighting, releasing, shall we say, or agreeing to fight Big Baby Jarrell Miller. Miller tested positive for all those multiple banned substances, ended up fighting Andy Ruiz Jr. and lost that fight. Now, with Dereck Chisora to say that, first of all, the WBC, why would they be unhappy that Dillian Whyte didn't take the Anthony Joshua fight? Anthony Joshua, nothing to do with the WBC. Nothing to do with them whatsoever. So quite why he's saying WBC is beyond me. Sky Sports being upset about it, I can see that one for sure, because Adam Smith said that he was disappointed that Dillian Whyte didn't take the fight with Anthony Joshua. And we could have had a Wembley Stadium, this, that and the other. With Eddie Hearn, I don't know whether or not he'd have been upset, because I remember him doing many interviews saying how he felt that the offer that was made to Dillian Whyte was a bit too low. And he felt Dillian Whyte would turn it down. So he knew Dillian Whyte was going to turn him down based on the offers that went through to Dillian Whyte. Now, when you look at it, Dillian Whyte, he was offered, I believe, it was around about 4, maybe 5 million to take on Anthony Joshua. Brilliant money. Yes, it's for the world titles. And of course, it's a shot at redemption to try and overturn that defeat that he had with Anthony Joshua back in 2015. So you could say, should he have taken the fight? In some ways, sure, I can see the argument for sure. But the money that he was offered was half of what Big Baby Jarrell Miller was offered, which we found out recently coming from Serafina, who was managing Big Baby Jarrell Miller, who said that for the first fight, he was offered $10 million. So if Dillian Whyte was offered between £4 and £5 million, you do the conversion. Big Baby Miller was offered a hell of a lot more. Miller, who has nowhere near the kind of resume of a Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is a pay-per-view fighter. So why is it that Dillian Whyte was offered far less than, say, Miller? Now, Andy Ruiz Jr., did he get $10 million? I don't know. I really don't know. We do know Luis Ortiz, he was offered $7 million and he turned it down. So either way, Dillian Whyte was offered less than everybody else. But people say that Dillian Whyte should have accepted the Anthony Joshua fight. A lot of Tyson Fury fans are saying why should he fight Tyson Fury when he had a world title opportunity? Why is Dillian Whyte talking about world title opportunity? He's had a world title opportunity and he turned it down. Well, so did Tyson Fury, for a hell of a lot more money than what Dillian Whyte was offered. Dillian Whyte wanted to go get the WBC belt, then go back to Anthony Joshua for undisputed, and then he's writing his own check at the negotiation tables, isn't he? That's what it was all about, and of course with the rematch as well. Now, to quickly cover Dereck Chisora saying how they had an agreement, well, clearly you didn't. Maybe, is an agreement for maybe a third place choice? Because Joshua said, and Eddie Hearn said, they want Wilder next. That's the top priority, because he was a WBC champion. If they can't get Wilder, then they'll get Tyson Fury. If they can't get Tyson Fury, then they'll look at Dillian Whyte. Okay, so nothing like being third choice down the line, is there? But Dillian Whyte, he's always wanted the WBC. That's the route he's been going for the last few years. That's the route that he's been paying the sanction fees, all that kind of thing. So Dereck Chisora, all he's doing is stirring the pot. That's all he's doing. He wants that third fight with Dillian Whyte, so he's going to do everything that he can to try and make Dillian Whyte bite. And with IFL as well, who interviewed Dereck Chisora, we know what Coogan's doing. He's trying to get him to say something about Dillian Whyte, because he knows Chisora's going to say something negative about Dillian Whyte because he wants the fight. Dillian Whyte then bites, Coogan gets the exclusive. It's all about views. That's all it is, okay? So don't believe that Coogan just sat there with a camera innocently. No. There's always a plan. There's always a plan. But is anything that he says there factual? I mean, DAZN, why would DAZN be upset? Dillian Whyte and DAZN have had past problems, and I'm pretty sure it was around the Oscar Rivas time as well. Wasn't it Dillian Whyte versus Oscar Rivas? Wasn't that shown on Showtime? I believe it was. Because DAZN weren't too bothered about having Dillian Whyte. The money that they offered him was pretty low, so he went with Showtime. So the relationship of Dillian Whyte-DAZN hasn't been great. We know that much. I'm presuming it's okay now, because I think his fight with Povetkin is going to be shown on DAZN, I believe. But back then, would DAZN have been upset? No, because DAZN wanted Anthony Joshua in America. That's what they wanted, against an American. That's why they're quite happy with the Miller fight. That's why they're quite happy with the Andy Ruiz Jr. fight. That's why they offered Deontay Wilder over $100 million for 2 fights with Anthony Joshua. They wanted an American versus Anthony Joshua. So DAZN been upset with Dillian Whyte for not taking it? Hell no. Hell no. And incidentally, I have heard from a couple of people saying that Eddie Hearn, is he upset? Well, a few people have said that Eddie Hearn, he actually wants Povetkin to beat Dillian Whyte. And when I heard that, I was like, come on, why would he? Of course not. Well, their claims are that if Povetkin beats Dillian Whyte, no more WBC problem. They end up making Povetkin versus Alexander Usyk. That's Russia versus Ukraine, so that's massive over there. And the fact that Povetkin, him defeating Dillian Whyte, while he become the interim champion, he won't be mandatory challenger. So the whole Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua fight is a clear path. There's no obstacles in the way. That's their beliefs. Is it true? I have no idea whatsoever. No idea whatsoever. But either way, is Eddie Hearn upset? Don't know. Sky Sports? Don't know. WBC? Why would they be? DAZN? No, DAZN wouldn't be upset either. But anyway, that's Dereck Chisora's statement. That's what he believes, that all these people are upset with Dillian Whyte because he turned down the Anthony Joshua fight, even though he had an agreement. I'm pretty sure he didn't have an agreement because Anthony Joshua proved that he didn't. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all in the next video.